Okay, so Your Lie in April. So Your Lie in April is a very wholesome slice of life anime. Hey, what's going on today, YouTube? Today I'm releasing the most controversial video I've ever done, and that's an anime tier list. Disclaimer, this anime tier list is going to be based on the animes that I've watched, and it's going to have a lot of influence based on my personal biases. So it doesn't mean one anime is better than the next. If I rate it higher than it, it may be that I just prefer the anime over the other. It's not to say that the anime is objectively better than the other. Starting with the top, it's gonna be no surprise if you've been following my channel, and if you're in my Discord, you will know that the one and only Psycho is going to be Re:Zero. Re:Zero all the way, baby. Take a look behind me. I've got a Re:Zero canvas poster, so if that doesn't say how much I like Re:Zero, then I don't know what else. I've also got Re:Zero figurines and other stuff on my wall up there. So yes, Re:Zero is the one and only anime for being my favorite anime, and I don't even need to have a reason for that. It's just my favorite anime. With setting the tone with that, Attack on Titans. Attack on Titans is I recommend that you go watch Attack on Titans. I think it's a great story. It's got great character development, great plot development, and sometimes I was a little bit confused. I personally really didn't like season 2 when I watched it the first time through, but as I watched a little bit more, it kind of grew on me, and I think Attack on Titans is overall a well-crafted series. So it's great. I highly recommend. Danmachi, I think it's good. It's kind of like Percy Jackson, but anime. There are Greek gods and goddesses and Roman gods and goddesses, and it's pretty cool because, you know, you follow Belle Cranel, and it's almost like the title is completely different than what the story is. How Not to Pick Up Girls in a Dungeon. It's a good story. I don't think it's the best. I mean, there's a lot of fan service in this anime, but you get to kind of see the character grow and develop and progress, and I think it's a good anime to watch. Would I recommend it? I'd still recommend it, but I'm just gonna put it on the good. I'm gonna put might recommend here. And so if you watch my stream, you know that the categories are all over the place, so that's why I'm kind of redoing it here. So you might notice a little bit of discrepancies between this and the stream, so please don't fret. They're all generally going to be in the same placements, but I just have it a little bit more categorized so that it's kind of more logical to follow. Next up, we have Shield Hero. So Shield Hero is great. I think Shield Hero first season was done really well. You kind of follow the underdog and see how the underdog performs under discrimination and stuff like that. I really like Shield Hero. Actually, I'm gonna put Shield Hero in one of my special biases. It's one of my personal favorite animes. I actually use Shield Hero quite a bit for some sentence mining, and yeah, I really like Shield Hero. It's gonna be one of my personal favorites as a bias. Not saying it's better than Attack on Titans, but it's one of my personal favorites. Next, it's gonna be Dr. Stone. Dr. Stone is a great anime. If you like science, you know, you'll get a kick out of it. I think it's pretty cool. Dr. Stone. The next one is going to be Railgun. So Railgun is going to be one of my personal favorite animes. I really liked Railgun when I watched it. I think it left quite a bit of an impact on me. You know, not like a big impact, but in terms of anime, I just felt that it was a really good anime series, and I rewatched this one several times, and I used to watch it while I was studying for homework. So it's definitely got a, you know, special bias. It's one of my personal favorites. You follow Misaka Mikoto through her, I think, is she a middle schooler? I think she's like a middle schooler, but she's got powers. I'm sorry, I'm doing a terrible job of explaining it, but without trying to spoil the story, you basically follow her with her abilities, and she's basically, you know, saving the city and the world as a middle schooler, and it's pretty cool. The reason I like it a lot as well is because it ties into the main storyline, which is Index, certain magical index, but Railgun is built through it way better, and you can follow the story, see character development, and you can see the story progressing in a more linear fashion than compared to Index, which I'll explain a little bit later once I get to Index. Next one, Boku no Hero. I think Boku no Hero is great. I would recommend to watch. And we'll leave it at that. Next is going to be Sword Art. So Sword Art it's got a special bias. It's one of my personal favorites. Sword Art Online was one of the main factors for me getting back into anime. So I'll have to say that Sword Art is one of my personal favorites as a special bias. So that's why I'm putting it in this category. All right, next up being Science Fell in Love, so I try to prove it. This one's cool. This one's cute. I really like this one. If you watch Kaguya-sama, it's kind of the same type of thing. I think it's cool. So if you're into slice of lives, I'd recommend watching it. It's got its moments in there that are that makes it cool. Next up, we have Tower of God. I'm going to put Tower of God as okay. It didn't leave too much of an impact on me. I kind of watched Tower of God and I was like, that's cool. But it hasn't progressed enough for me to have felt any impact. I'm gonna put it as okay, but who knows, maybe it will become spectacular once season 2 and season 3 are released. As well, I didn't like the intro, so sorry Tower of God intro lovers. I did not like the intro for Tower of God. That shouldn't play into my bias, but the intro really plays into my bias into some of these animes. Okay, so Kaguya-sama, here it is. Great, recommend to watch. Without going into it too much and spoiling anything, you have two high schoolers. You obviously know that they like each other, but one's trying to make the other admit that they like each other before the other, hence the title Love is War, because they don't want to lose the battle for saying I like you. So I guess it's hard to say I like you, and that is why that is what it's based off of. Demon Slayer. Okay, Demon Slayer is great. I recommend you watch Demon Slayer. I like it better than Boku no Hero. This one I have is Mugen Train, but I'm gonna say as just the general, Demon Slayer is a great series. We know what Demon Slayer is. Darwin's Game, special bias, personal favorite. No, I'm gonna put this one right here. I'm gonna put Darwin's Game into great recommend to watch. I watched Darwin's Game several months back, and I think it's a really great series. God of High School, it's okay. God of High School, worst intro ever. I'm sorry, dubstep lovers. I did not like God of High School intro. I just didn't like it. I watched the anime. Unfortunately, I watched the anime without subtitles first. So you can, if you've seen God of High School, I was confused real quick. It's only 12 episodes, but episode 1 versus like episode 12, I don't know how they got there in that time span. It was super confusing on my first watch through without any subtitles, English subtitles, so when I went back and watched it with English subtitles, I was like, oh man, I missed a lot. So God of High School, I think it progressed way too fast. It was confusing. Great animation though. It has fantastic animation, so I actually will stick that in an okay. Rental Girlfriend. We know what my stance is on that. Just kidding. If you haven't followed my channel, I really like the Rental Girlfriend series. Definitely a dumpster fire, and that is why I love it. A situation that is mishandled critically incorrectly, and you just see it proliferate and get worse and worse in a you're like angry at the characters for knowing how it's going to progress. Like there's an easy solution to it, yet they're not, the main character isn't willing to do what he needs to do to solve it, and just being a big wuss for a majority of the anime and even the manga. Oh my god, the manga was frustrating to read, but I got through it. But yes, it's a dumpster fire that I love. Once again, not that it's better than any other anime, but it's got a special place. Food Wars, good. I might recommend Food Wars. If you like fan service, if you like food, Food Wars is perfect for you. Basically, they're battling with food to see whose food is better, and when they taste good food, their clothes explode. So it's really stupid, but that is Food Wars. It's not just food, cooking, and clothes exploding. It does have a storyline, so it does actually have a cool story to follow. But I don't think it might be great, but I'm gonna leave it at good, at the top of good. And I might recommend it if you like that type of stuff. The next one we have here is I actually missed it, is Isekai Quartet. So Isekai Quartet doesn't make sense unless you've watched 4 5 animes: Shield Hero, Overlord, Tanya, ReZero, Konosuba, because it's kind of like a mixture of them all in chibi form. So I think this is a cute one. Due to it just mainly being filler, I'm gonna put it at good. It's just a wholesome filler to watch in downtime. Next, Jujutsu Kaisen. Okay, Jujutsu Kaisen I think is great. I'll put this above Dr. Stone. I think Jujutsu Kaisen, the animation is done really well. Done actually really well. The fight scenes are done well. There's some comedy in there. It's overall a great, I guess I can call it shonen, great shonen anime. Reincarnated as a slime, special place. So yeah, Reincarnated as a slime, it's an isekai, special place because me and my girlfriend watched it. It was one of the first animes that we watched, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. Next up is Naruto. So Naruto is I'm going to put it at the bottom of great. It's a great classic. I do recommend that you watch it, but the reason I put it at the bottom is because when I was watching it, every single other week there was a filler, and I actually dropped Naruto Shippuden back in 2013 because of all these fillers. So I never actually finished the anime, but I do plan on finishing the anime. So because everything's been released, I already know what happens, but I do want to finish watching the anime. I still think it's a classic, so it's great. I recommend that you watch it. I guess I'll also put Naruto. I'll put Naruto in there as well, right next to Shippuden. Next, No Game No Life. No Game No Life is cool. If you're into OP main characters and video games, will definitely probably fit your vibe. I think it's good. I may or may not recommend it based on what your personal tastes are, but I'm just gonna put it there and leave it at that. Grisaya. Okay, Grisaya is gonna be one of my top special biases, one of my top personal favorites. The Fruit of Grisaya, I started watching because of some clips that I saw. The Fruit of Grisaya basically follows main character. His name is Yuji, and then five other gals or girls in his high school, and each one has a dark story or dark history behind each character. It all plays into kind of how their interactions with him are, and so in the anime they don't really play out as long as it could have or should have progressed, because coming from someone who actually ended up reading the visual novel, they missed out on a lot of the backstories of the characters. And so I still think the Fruit of Grisaya is one of my personal favorites, and I'm gonna leave it at the top there. Witchcraft Works. Witchcraft Works is, I don't really remember much of Witchcraft Works, so I'll put it on okay. Overlord. I think Overlord is, I'll put Overlord at the top of good, might recommend. So if you're into isekai animes, Overlord's gonna be one of them that you want to watch. Okay, max level with slimes. I think it's a wholesome mid-level anime, so we're just gonna leave it at that. I think I still have a couple of episodes to finish, but it's nothing spectacular, nothing bad. No, it's a mid-level anime. So I'm a Spider, so what? I think it's a good I think this one is good. This is another isekai anime. As you can see, I've watched a lot of isekais. I'm put it at bottom of my recommend. If you're into isekai, I think you should watch it. Next one is Irregular Magic High School. So this is the season 2 cover page, but I haven't actually seen season 2. I think this is a mid-level anime. There's too much brosis stuff in there, and so I was just seeing season 1. Maybe it's better after seeing season 2, but we're gonna put that one at mid. Okay. Vivi, I put in my top special bias and also in my top great recommend to watch. I really like Vivi. Okay, so I guess my obsession with Vivi comes from me really liking the Terminator series as growing up, but Vivi follows a singing AI on her journey to basically save humanity from robots taking over the world. AI has advanced so much in the future to where they basically just say humanity is a waste or is bad. And so I personally really like it. I put it at the top of great, but also one of my top special biases, which is why I put it as its own category. So that's Vivi there. The hidden dungeon that only I can enter. This one is terrible. Don't watch it. Basically it's just like 99% fan service in my opinion. I did not like this anime. I watched several episodes and I was like, okay, it doesn't really make too much sense. The main character gets like mana based on, you know, how he feels, and I'm just gonna leave it at that. So Calamity Ann is the worst. Tsukumichi, this one is mid. I don't really remember too much, but I think it follows a character who is also OP. But yeah, mid. Girlfriend. This one's okay. It's your typical harem style anime, so we're gonna leave it at okay. Inspector, I don't really remember too much of Inspector, but you know, it is kind of cool. Inspector, you follow a detective. He's basically like a detective for like spirits and whatnot. It's been a while since I watched it, but I remember that it was pretty good. The intro is pretty cool. I like the intro song and how the intro plays, so I'm gonna put it at mid. Fena, I actually haven't finished Fena. Me and my girlfriend stopped watching Fena, so I'm gonna put it at mid. I do plan on watching in the future, so we'll leave it at that. Restaurant to Another World, I'll put this at the top of mid. Restaurant to Another World is a very wholesome food anime. Basically, they just go to, and there's like a door, and different people of different continents from in another world go to this restaurant that's on Earth, and they all have like food that they like, and each episode is about like each character, and all the food is good, like oishi umai. So it's cool. It's a wholesome anime. We're gonna leave it at mid. If you like slice of lives, yes, I would recommend that you watch it. If you like food animes, totally go watch it. Promised Neverland, we'll stick at the bottom of okay. People say it's bad. I haven't seen season 2, so you know what? We'll put it at the middle of okay. You know what? Based on season 1, I thought it was mid. I thought the Promised Neverland was going to be promising. So I haven't seen season 2 because I don't want to be disappointed by it yet. So I'm gonna put it at mid for season 1. Konosuba. Okay, so Konosuba is a dumpster fire that I love. It's really stupid because the character, it's a harem anime as well, but the characters that it's a isekai harem, you know how they all go. But the main character, he basically gets the dumbest of the dumb for companions in his party, and they all have their dumb shortcomings in particularly funny ways. I guess it's not really a dumpster fire. Maybe it is, but I'm gonna put it in that category because I feel like it's more of like a meme anime than anything too serious. So this next one, The Strongest Sage with the Weakest Crest, I think is a mid-level anime. I think it's not too bad. It's something that I would just watch in my free time. Land of Lidolale. We'll put this at top of mid. This one was cool. I think if I remember correctly, this one you follow an overpowered witch, and there's a big theme, like all these characters are overpowered. A Heron-san, I haven't finished this one, but I'll put this as a good would recommend slice of life. It's a cute one. Next, Shikimori-san. So I do actually like Shikimori-san. Basically, the boyfriend is useless and the girlfriend, Shikimori, is the best at everything. And so you kind of see how that plays out in their relationship, and I think it's pretty cool. It's wholesome. It's nice. Okay, Tokyo Ghoul. I've got 2 Tokyo Ghouls in here to rate. I've got Tokyo Ghoul season 1. Tokyo Ghoul season 1 is gonna be mid. On my special biases personal favorite, I really like Tokyo Ghoul season 1. I did like season 2. I did like Tokyo Ghoul season 2. But it started getting weird in Tokyo Ghoul Re and Tokyo Ghoul 4. It started getting super weird, so I'll put it at mid for the other stuff that are in season 1 and 2. Because yeah, it got a little bit different than what I thought it was gonna be. The first season was a little bit more spooky, a little bit more edgy, in a good way, to where you follow the main character and he gets thrown into this world of ghouls and he's trying to find his way to navigate through it. I thought that was done well in season 1 with all of the different organizations that there are in the story. Sword Art Online, like I said, this one is a special bias. I really liked Gun Gale arc. I think Shinon was one of my favorite characters. Tokyo Revengers. Tokyo Revengers is great. I think I would recommend to watch Tokyo Revengers. It gave me ReZero vibes when I was watching Tokyo Revengers, because this guy has almost, it seems like he has multiple lives. So that's what I'm gonna put that one here. Great, recommend to watch. Okay, the next one is Spy Family. I think Spy Family is worthy of the hype. I really like Spy Family. I think Spy Family is cute, really cute, and also the characters are cool. So we're gonna put it at high of great, recommend to watch. I think anyone can watch Spy Family. You can watch it with your family. You can watch it by yourself, and yeah, Spy Family, wholesome anime. Really recommend to watch. It's talk of the town right now, or it was back in the spring. So yeah, Classroom of the Elite, special, one of my personal favorites. It also falls underneath the category of great, and I recommend to watch. So I'll put this one at in Vivi's category. I think it's great. It's a personal favorite, and I recommend to watch. Classroom of the Elite, the character that you follow, Ayano Koji, he's a really interesting character, and he develops fairly nicely. From what I've seen so far, he's developing in a way that I kind of don't expect, but also kind of expect, and it's different than your typical protagonist. So I recommend you go watch Classroom of the Elite. It's one of my personal favorites, and I think it's pretty great. Okay, so Your Lie in April. Your Lie in April, I'm gonna put it in the middle of great, would recommend to watch. So Your Lie in April is a very wholesome slice of life anime. It can get a little bit monotonous at times, a little bit boring. So I will put it a little bit lower, because sometimes they're just playing instruments, and but Your Lie in April is, a classic of the slice of lives that I think you should watch, as it's a fairly nice and wholesome anime. So we'll leave it at that, and let me know once you finish what you think about Your Lie in April. Next up is Nisekoi. Nisekoi is top of okay. So Nisekoi, I really wanted to like Nisekoi. I guess Nisekoi kind of gives me rental girlfriend vibes. It really gives me rental girlfriend vibes, because the girls have kind of like the same hair style or hair colors and whatnot. And it is definitely like a harem style anime, but it kept going around in circles over and over. Like, I tried reading the manga as well. Like, it just kept going around in circles, and nothing was progressing, so it just felt like one big filler. And so I never finished Nisekoi the manga. I got bored. Unlike Rental Girlfriend kept pulling me back in when I tried to stop. But Nisekoi was a little bit different. I just couldn't finish it. So I'm gonna put that at okay. And I really wanted to like it, but we'll put it at bottom of mid. So Nisekoi, we'll leave it there. At least Nisekoi is something that I could watch on the side. Like, if I was like studying or something, I could like slap on Nisekoi and have it as background noise or something like that. All right, and here is Magical Index. So Magical Index, we're going to put right underneath Scientific Railgun. So I think it's fitting for them to go right next to each other in my special biases, personal favorites. I personally really like the way that the Index world is weaved through the world of the certain scientific railgun series, and the way that they kind of play in a sequential order. So these storylines are occurring at the same time, and you can even watch them in a specific order to where you can technically watch the series in chronological order. I had a Google Doc somewhere where I charted out these episodes where you could watch them when certain things were happening concurrently, but the stories in Index, they move way too quick in my opinion. So Magical Index, you jump through the story super quick, and so that's my only gripe about it. And then, you know, certain fights could be ended in different ways, but the way that fights end in Magical Index, it's I guess that's part of the charm of the series, and you'll know if you've read or seen the series. So okay, Full Metal Alchemist. I can't grade Full Metal Alchemist because I haven't read it, or I haven't seen all of it. But from what I have seen, I'm gonna put Full Metal Alchemist at top of mid. So Full Metal Alchemist, this is not Brotherhood, by the way. Full Metal Alchemist, I've only seen episodes 1 through 25. I think it's progressed pretty cool. You know, it hasn't left anything substantial in me. It's also kind of got an older animation style, and you know, I guess I'm more fond of newer animation styles. But I guess I gotta go watch Brotherhood because that's what everyone says is good, and I've actually got to finish the series, so we'll see. One Punch Man. Okay, so One Punch Man, I'm gonna put this one pretty high on my special biases personal favorites. This is the first season, so One Punch Man, the first season, I watched quite a bit when it got released. I really liked the One Punch Man series back in, like, I think it was like 2015 or 2016 when it was released, and I even read up on the web novel and caught up back then. When I saw season 1, I thought this is fantastic. The music is great, the animation is great, the memes are great, and so I really liked One Punch Man. Saitama is a pretty iconic character, and I think everyone knows what One Punch Man is. Even people that don't watch anime know who Saitama is, or know of the One Punch Man. So I think it's middle of my special biases personal favorites. Next is Cabaneri of the Iron Fortress. I'm going to put this one right behind, in the middle of Great Recommend to Watch. I think Cabaneri was a great series. I guess if I have to explain it, you know, it's kind of like there are these zombies and there are these trains, the Iron Fortress basically, where they have to travel between cities and you know, they're trying to survive and get to these cities, but these kabane are, you know, taking these people out, and it's an infectious disease, so people can become infected by it, and it runs rampant. I'm gonna leave it at that. Go watch it, it's cool. Log Horizon. So I personally really liked Log Horizon. I wouldn't recommend it though. Log Horizon is more of an older anime. It's an isekai as well, but I guess I didn't realize it until I started trying to rewatch it. It progresses really slowly, and so it's got 50 episodes, 25 in season 1, 25 in season 2. It's been a while since I watched it, but I remember that it was good enough to where I did want a season 3, but it took them too long to release a season 3. And now that season 3 is released, you know, I tried rewatching season 1 and 2, but I couldn't get through it, so you know, I'm gonna leave it at the bottom of my personal favorites. I remembered that it was really good when I watched it, but maybe it's a little bit too long for me right now, so we'll leave it at that. Okay, next up is Mob Psycho. I think Mob Psycho is actually just really good. It's from the same creator of One Punch Man. It's got comedy aspects of it and battle scenes as well, fight scenes, and I think the animation is also done really well in this anime. So we'll put that at a middle of great recommend to watch. Okay, next up is Black Clover. Black Clover I'll put at the top of good. Black Clover I haven't finished. I watched up to like episode 100 or something. And I was watching this one while they were releasing the anime. Black Clover, I think, is good. It's kind of like Naruto. I'm gonna put it at top of good just because it is good, but the main character yells too much. Grand Crest War, bottom of mid. I didn't finish it though, so from the point that I watched it to where the point that I ended, I don't think it left too much of an impression on me, so I don't know if I would recommend it. So that's why I'm just going to leave it as a mid-level anime. Maybe a little bit lower. Put it above Nisekoi. Okay, so this one is called Death March: The Parallel World Rhapsody. It didn't leave too much of an impression on me. I would not rewatch it. And then, so this one is Sword Art, but this is Gun Gale Alternative. I think the Gun Gale Alternative, it wasn't created by the same people or the same animators. I think this one was good. I think this one had a good story because it follows the main pink little character as a offshoot of the Sword Art Online series, and I thought it was done well. In terms of story, it progressed better than Sword Art Online for the characters, so we'll put that at might recommend. Okay, How Not to Summon a Demon Lord. This one's pretty bad as well. But at least I enjoyed it while watching it. So this one's pretty bad. It also follows. It's definitely a harem style anime, and it's very ecchi. Nothing more to say about it. It's a typical isekai where the main character is OP. But you know, there were some cool parts in there. It's not just an etch fest the entire time. So I'll put that at the bottom of okay. Would I rewatch it? No. And there's also a season 2 for it. I haven't seen, but will I watch season 2? I guess maybe in the future. Okay, and Bunny Girl Senpai. I realized I actually did not grade Bunny Girl Senpai in the live stream that I had, but Bunny Girl Senpai is going to go up top here. Sakurajima Mai, I believe that's her name. You know, people I guess would say is waifu status. I think this one was pretty cool, so we're gonna leave it at great. Would recommend to watch. I think it's wholesome. There are some cringy moments though. Episode 4 overall pretty good, especially when it's following Mai Sakurajima. Yeah. All right, here's this one. Dome X Kano, dumpster fire, right smack dab in the middle. Dome X Kano is the first manga that I actually finished through ever, and I was not disappointed with the ending. It ended in the way that you would imagine something like this to have ended, and man, it was a disaster the entire way throughout the manga in both good and bad ways. The writer kept you wanting to read because each chapter would end on a cliffhanger, so that's the unfortunate thing about the way that Kei Sasuga wrote it, but it was good. We'll leave it at that. Akame ga Kill. Oh yeah, top of great recommend to watch. I really liked Akame ga Kill. Main character, well, who is the main character? Main character was cool in this anime, and yeah, the fights in there are really good too. Knights and Magic was cool. We'll put it at mid. I didn't mind Knights of Magic. It's like a Gundam isekai. The Cabaneri movie, put that there. Actually higher. It's got a cute scene in it, so we'll leave that above that. Scientific Accelerator, we'll put this in the middle of the scientific series because this one follows Accelerator. And taking a look at the other icons that I have here, all of these are either duplicates or things that I haven't finished. Like for example, I have not finished or not started Laid Back Camp or Nagatoro. I haven't seen that one either, so these icons are ones that are duplicates or things that I haven't watched it or haven't seen. So let's go ahead and take a look at the list as a whole. And there is my anime list based on animes that I've watched. And so there are some of my personal biases in here, but this is how I would grade them in this specific tier. So that's going to be today's video. It's going to be a long one if you watch all the way through. Feel free to leave down below in the comments what you think of the animes, and I will see you again in a future video. And I was just looking over the list. I guess I do have a little bit of a change. I think, Goblin Slayer is a little bit higher than How Not to Summon a Demon Lord and these two. So I'm going to put it at the top of okay. God of High School, I'll bring that one up, and then I'll put Tog there too. So that's the changes that I have. Everything for the most part is still the same.